All right, my Charles Moscowitz here. My guest is none other than David Horowitz, author of just a multiple of books. My favorite being Radical Son. David, you have a new book coming out, BLITZ. Trump will snatch the left to print, which it sounds like you borrowed that from an old communist to smash. You know, those are like.
I didn't actually, I'm not responsible for the title. Publishers make up the titles.
Okay. Now, you have a great article that I see up in Front Page Magazine today, Nancy Pelosi's Jesus Complex. And if there's anyone that describes that complex, it's you. I mean, she's openly and blatantly lying in public and doing so with the absolute confidence that she'll get away with it. And I'm worried that she will get away with it because she usually does get away with it. And the most recent lie that I'd like to mention is that after having told people to come on down to Chinatown in San Francisco in late February, during when everyone knew about the virus, and saying, that President Trump's travel ban on China was because he has something against Chinese people. Now she's backpedaling and claiming that she's the one who warned everybody to take precautions. It's a flat out lie and it's easy to prove, but yet she is saying it publicly. No one's questioning her in the mainstream Mockingbird left media. What do you make of it? How does she get away with this?
Well, there's a war going on in this country, and the media's they're Democrats, and the Democrats are at war with America. They want to destroy our free market economy. They want to create a socialist gulag. Rasmussen has a report that a majority of Democrats don't blame China for the virus, even though they're clearly responsible. They blame Trump. So they're accusing, here's a party led by Pelosi that's accusing Republicans and Trump of murdering Americans, of betraying the Constitution, of being Russian agents, traitors. And when she was asked by Joy-Ann Reid, in your new COVID legislation, are you going to have a provision for releasing criminals? And her answer is, our caucus, that's the Democrats, is very devoted to the Gospel of Matthew.
Oh.
So, in other words, here's the leader of the hate party. This is the party of hate. Everybody can see it who isn't blinded by their own hatred Everybody can see that Democrats are the party of hate. And she's presenting them as the party of Jesus and herself. And of course, this is very common to leftists. Leftists are people who think they can change the world from what it's been for 5,000 years and save the planet. In other words, they think of themselves as social redeemers, as Jesus figures. Well, if you think that, then you're a sociopath. And all you have to do is put sociopathic personality into your Google, and you come up with the chief traits. One is an outsized sense of self, an elevated sense of self. And what flows from that is that what you're doing is so important that you can lie, you can break every rule of civility and truth, every standard, in order, it's the end justifies the means. And the other is that you don't give a damn about others. And you see that in Pelosi wants to let criminals out. She's worth $200 million. She has a mansion in Pacific Heights, San Francisco, surrounded by walls and gates, private security agents, government security agents. So she's not exposed to the dangers that she's unleashing. And she doesn't give a rat's ass about ordinary Americans. And I think that's clear. Everybody can see it in this fight over the shutdown of the economy. The shutdown of the economy is a dagger aimed at, all working Americans.
Yeah.
We have 30 million people now unemployed who probably don't have a lot of savings. She doesn't care about them. She cares about beating Trump, period. These are very, very dangerous people, evil people.
Oh, I agree, and I think that there's always these little moments of revelation when the public can see the nature of what you're talking about. And one of those was recently that commercial that President Trump's campaign brilliantly put together, showing her standing in front of her two $48,000 refrigerators holding up ice cream. And when asked a question by a liberal late night talk show host, why isn't she in Washington passing the stimulus bill? She says, "Oh no, we have plenty of time for that. We don't worry about that." This
She,
arrogance.
she can get away with it because we have a totally corrupt press, just totally corrupt. They attack Fox and call it, Trump station and state-run media and not a legitimate news. Fox has one Democrat professional liar after another on daily. They've got Donna Brazile, who's a well-known liar.
Right.
They've got Jessica Tarlow. They have Marie Harf. They have Ron Williams. I mean, these are either Democrat operatives or Democrat spear carriers, and they're on all day long on the programs. You look at Fox, you can't help but get the Democrat view of things. You turn on MSNBC or CNN, it's like Soviet media. You get six people attacking Trump and patting each other on the back. It's a disgrace. And they can see it. And that's how you know how corrupt they are. It doesn't take rocket science to see what's going on.
Oh, they've become totally out in the open in their leftist bias under Trump, in that now it's really an all-out effort to try to not discredit, but to destroy him and his presidency. I mean, the standards have gotten so low that now they'll go out with a report from one anonymous source, which would have been unthinkable. And then, of course, it goes out there, makes its way. A day later, they drop it and they go on to the next, single source.
It's every day. And the agenda is to remove a duly elected president. That is treason. That's what the Civil War was about. And the only reason we're not in a shooting war now is because the federal government is too powerful. And so there can't be a civil war as in 1860. But it's the same deep division and the same treason on the part of the same party, the Democratic Party. They never accepted the 2016 election. They supported a coup attempt led by an intelligence agency whose heads were all appointed by Obama. Obama's behind all this, by the way. Right. There's no way that Obama didn't know about all these phony charges against the Trump campaign, the $35 million Mueller investigation fiasco, whose purpose was to obstruct the Trump presidency. This is sedition. It's a clear definition. The only problem I see is that Republicans still, their response to being called racist, sexist, homophobes, traitors, killers of, COVID-19 victims, their response is the Democrats are playing politics. No, this is not politics. This is war. And when the Republicans get the language of war, then I'll believe that I still believe the American people are too resilient and too smart for us to lose this. But I'll know we're winning when I hear them call these Democrats the racists that they are. Kamala Harris had this incredibly racist tweet today. She does it every day. But today's was because of this, murder in Georgia. I mean, there are racism out there, that if you have a black child, she said it's terrible that you have to grow up in America fearing for the life of the black child. That's Ku Klux Klan talk. There are more whites murdered by blacks, but you don't have well, you probably have those guys who shot this black man in Georgia saying this. But whites generally are not saying to raise a white child in America, his life is endangered because of black people. That is so racist, and it's so common. Elizabeth Warren is another outsized racist. But actually, all the Democrat leaders have said things like this. I'd even say the virus is racist.
Oh, yeah. Well, because you're using certain code words like urban apparently is racist.
No. It's because these people are collectivists. That's why they're sociopaths. They're collectivists. They don't believe in the individual accountability. So yes, right. Blacks are a larger percentage of the victims of the COVID-19 virus, but it's mainly through their own choices. That is, the three biggest comorbidity factors, the three biggest factors that make you vulnerable and get you killed if the virus infects you are obesity, high blood pressure, and diabetes. High blood pressure and diabetes are effects of obesity. 80% of black women are obese, and something like 50 or 60% of black men. That's why they're dying in greater numbers. This has not, but they put it on the inequalities of the system. It has nothing to do with the inequalities. It has to do with a culture, which doesn't say it's bad to be fat. Dangerous.
It's also, it's also a cover-up on their part.
I don't want to put a moral thing on it. It's just
No. It's a health problem. And I think that they're also involved in a broader cover-up of their own racist policies that go back to the 60s. The destruction of the black family, the destruction of black economy and enterprise, the destruction of the black church.
And the
education
black public
policies.
School.
Screwed young black students. Yeah, exactly.
It's all 100% controlled by Democrats.
That's right. So if you want to point,
and there isn't a Republican besides Trump who I have ever seen calling a Democrat a racist.
Oh,
unbelievable! What is wrong with Republicans?
They're all like shot, kind of cowed. First of all, I think they all want to get their big faces up on this left-wing media, and they want attention. They feel that will validate them. And secondly, they're cowards.
Oh yeah, it's worse than that. I mean, look what they did to Steve King for nothing.
Right. No,
they pile on. They pile on other Republicans who are politically incorrect. It's just terrible. It's a miracle that Trump has been able to unify this party.
It is, and he's like the sole figure. It's amazing that the thing that I think pisses him off more than anything is that he speaks plainly and he means what he says. I mean, past presidents, including Obama, they gave lip service to things like securing the border and whatnot. Trump talks about it and he means it. He's doing it.
Yeah.
And that's what's driving.
Notice Democrats aren't talking about open borders for a while or the wall.
Right. Well,
this virus has shown how dangerous Democrats are. Dangerous to every American.
It's now proven that sovereignty and national rights are being implemented all over the world in response. Even the European Union finally shut their border after thousands of deaths. It's kind of like
I don't think it's too late to rescue Europe. I hate to say it.
No, I mean that very well may be, but their entire edifice is shaken by Trump and by movements that say simple things like putting their nation state first, whether it be America or other nations, which is common sense, which is normal. Of course, we put our nation first, but we put ourselves first.
They have this delusion, these collectivists, the Democrats, these communists. My parents I grew up in the communist community. The Democratic Party is a communist party.
Yeah.
They have the same vision. And their idea is that the source of all social problems are groups, patriarchies, races, corporations, whatever, classes, not individuals. And the reverse is true. It's individuals are the problems. The root cause of all social problems is us, individuals. Once you understand that, you understand the power of culture, of people's. Why is Mexico poor? They've got natural resources. They took control of
the
their.
richest in the world, yeah.
Yeah. Why are they poor? Because they have a totally screwed up culture. It's corrupt. That's why they're poor. And the same thing. Why is there all this poverty in the Black community? Well, of course, it's the welfare system. They've been hooked on a system that makes them dependent, and they blame and it tells them to blame white people for their problems, which takes away from them their agency, their ability, to succeed. If you think some white powerful person is rigging everything against you, it takes away your ability to get yourself out of the hole you're in. It's that simple.
No, all right. So David Horowitz is the author of the new book, BLITZ, Trump Will Smash the Left and Win. David, I would imagine that you wrote this book before the pandemic. So how do you think the pandemic is going to affect things? I mean, I think is it true what I'm hearing that you get blue states who are really cracking down with very draconian laws, that they literally want to prolong this thing as a way to hurt the economy?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Democrats have only one goal, and that's power. And they'll do anything. They will kill Americans. They will kill the economy. They want people unemployed. You look at their little propaganda videos, and they blamed everything on Trump. The unemployment on Trump. I mean, Trump created record employment. If you look at the states, 7 out of the top 8 states of coronavirus victims, and the vast majority of them are run by Democrats. No surprise there. They're sanctuary states and cities. They're open border states. I mean, they let criminals run free. You could go on and on. If there's anybody responsible, and I think it's a big leap to think that a person is responsible, but it'd be Andrew Cuomo or 2 of them, and de Blasio. We now know, we know 2 things. One is that the virus was spread to the rest of the country by New York. That's a scientific, I hate to use the word fact because everything's always changing, but that's the latest.
Yeah.
And the other is that 66% of the cases are for people who are sheltered at home. So the lockdown of the states has no scientific basis. It's just a chance for little Hitlers, like the governor of Michigan, to exercise their part. Democrats are just dangerous people. They're delusional. They think that the world, if they get control of, they eliminate companies and have governments run everything will be hunky-dory. Social justice. There's not going to be social justice. There's going to be, their justice, which is to punish.
Which is very selective. Yeah, I mean, it's arbitrary and it's situational justice.
Basic vision is people are ornery. They want to do evil. They cheat. They lie. They steal. And people in government are the same individuals that lie, cheat, and steal, only they have enormously more power and they're more dangerous. So the American idea of limited government it's actually based on Christian principles, limited government. And the founders were brilliant. They gave sovereignty to the people because they understood the dangers of monarchies and tyrannies, but they frustrated the people with a system of checks and balances that the Democrats want to destroy, like the Electoral College, like the Senate. They actually like packing the Supreme Court and politicizing it. The Democrats are a wrecking crew.
No, I mean, look at the Bible gives us the whole principle of that men and women, and it does say both men and women were created in the image of God. It says it in the book of Genesis, and that principle was understood by the founders, who recognized that rights come from the Creator and not from the state. That's what's made our philosophy and our civilization unique, and it's an embrace of these Judeo-Christian ideals. And it's the opposite of what the left is into, which is that rights are granted by the state, which is run by this sort of select, enlightened clique that knows better than the rest of us how we should be and how we should live.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. I mean, probably the most frightening statement in this whole virus was the governor of New Jersey, who was asked if he didn't consider that his lockdown laws violated the Bill of Rights. And he said, I didn't think about the Bill of Rights.
Right. So he said it was above his pay grade.
That's it. That's our law. That's what governs us, the Bill of Rights. That's what makes us different from all these other countries.
That's right. And I thank God that Trump is president right now, because if we had had a left-winger in office, we'd probably have martial law by now. We'd have concentration camps for people who step off their law. De Blasio talked about nationalizing a whole segment of industry. I mean, we got...
De Blasio is a communist pig.
Yeah.
I mean, these people idolize Fidel Castro. The Democratic Party has a terror caucus. By terror caucus, I'm talking about Omar and Tlaib. These are people who raise money for terrorists who want to kill Jews and Americans. And the Democratic Party has put them on the Foreign Affairs Committee, where they have top security clearance. This is really dangerous. The coup attempt against Trump was led by the heads of the CIA, by Brennan and Clapper, Obama appointees. And you know Obama knew about this. Very, very dangerous situation in this country.
It is, and it's becoming...
My book, BLITZ, Trump Will Smash the Left and Win, is a guide to this war. I go over all the things the Democrats did in the last year, the last several years, and show their philosophy they have behind it, which is frightening. It's racist, it's collectivist. The Green New Deal is not socialism, it's communism. I mean, just take one item. They want to confiscate every gasoline combustion car in America. That's 276 million automobiles, which are big budget items for middle class people, and people are attached to cars because that's their freedom. You tell me how you can confiscate 276 million automobiles without instituting a police state. And in fact, that's part of their plan. If you look at the Green New Deal as it was announced by Cortez and defended by Cory Booker and these others, you ask them, how are we going to finance and implement the Green New Deal? And the answer, World War II mobilization, martial goddamn law. Yeah. That's what they're supporting, ignoring the fact that we incarcerated 120,000 Japanese citizens. When you have national security, it will justify anything. And their national security is this delusional, we're going to control the climate to save the planet. You're a threat to the planet.
Well, they cook up this whole crisis.
What crime would you not commit or support to save the planet? What lie would you not tell to save the planet? You want to understand these Democrats? That's their mentality. That's the Jesus complex. I mean, I hate to drag Jesus into this, but Pelosi is in name only a Catholic, so she invoked it. But that's what it is. They're dangerous. Yeah.
And there are personality traits that are become obvious with this, like Pelosi, this kind of arrogance. It's almost like they're just dripping with this syrupy quality, like they wake up every morning and they descend from Mount Sinai to give the world a gift of their great knowledge. It's so heightenedly arrogant.
They're sociopaths. Their mentality is no different from Ted Bundy's.
Yeah. How about sizes it up?
Yeah.
You control
Uh,
human life. They control people where they go. Now we all locked up in our houses. They can control what we see.
it's better than that. Close the churches and open the jails. That's their policy.
Oh, that's
Right?
funny.
What do you need to know about the Democrats that's not out there in front of you?
David Horowitz, listen, I really appreciate you coming on and spending some time with me today. Please let my listeners know where they can get your book and read your articles.
Yeah, my articles are at frontpagemagazine.com or frontpagemag.com. And the book is available at Amazon. You can pre-order it. It's going to be published in about 3 weeks on June 2nd. It will help me reach an audience if you pre-order the book.
Thanks a lot, David. I really appreciate you joining me.
Thank you, Charles.
All right. Have a good one. Thank you.
Yes.